We go, here we go, T minus 0. Okay, good morning gang, good morning gang. It's going to be a quiet Saturday morning here, I think. You know what I'm doing here? Nothing special, just carving, light carving here. Just trying to find the spot. Just lights, action. We're going to pick up exactly where we left off a couple of days ago. We're working, for those of you who don't know, this is the first print in the 8 Views of Cats series. It's designed by Randall Hall, tattoo artist in the Carolinas somewhere. Paper's out, yes, thanks very much. Only one person is up there this morning. I know it's Lei Chan. She's doing an interesting print. She's doing one of the prints I did in my Surimono albums years ago, and it's a painted print. It's a print that was originally designed in the years before color printing was invented. So she's going to print a key block, which we've carved, and she's going to paint all the colors by hand. Interesting experience. It's interesting for the printers to do that because they really get a good feel of what this world was like before the printing was invented. So she'll be doing that today. Other than that, what's going to be going on? It's the weekend, so Cameron won't be here today. I'll be here by myself, just doing this quiet stream. What have we got for show and tell? I don't have a bunch of stuff. On Thursday, I talked to you about a show and tell, some package that was coming from auctions. They arrived yesterday, and I was going to save them for a show and tell today, but I can't do that. They're being fumigated. What it was we got a package of old wood blocks, 12 wood blocks, really quite old, from early Meiji. And they're really quite interesting, and I was hoping that some of them we'd be able to use for wood, for our own use. But when we opened the box, and the blocks were all wrapped in plastic, we opened the plastic, we found lots and lots of wood dust. There are bugs, wood bugs, still in there, eating those blocks. So we opened up all the individual packages, put fumigation tablets in there, wrapped them all in a plastic bag, put them upstairs. I cannot have those bugs in our building. Bugs that eat wood blocks, that's the last thing we need around our building here. So I can't show you those blocks today, I'm sorry. Yeah, but what I do have finished, and we should maybe do this backwards. I know we normally do a bit of show and tell at the end of the stream, but I saw a few minutes ago, I got a note from Jed that he's going to be around here this morning. Jed will be on the stream today, I think. And I have an optional show and tell that affects Jed. So maybe let's do that. Jed's going to probably want to go away and do his work. But if he is here, Jedson, are you in? Something to show you. Jedson, speak up if you're here. No comment. Okay, you guys let me know. If he does come on, if he does come in the list there, let me know, because we've got something to show Jed specifically this morning. Oh, here he is. Okay, let's do that. I got a package from Kawasaki-san. Jed knows what this is. I don't have the printout. Jed knows what this is. It's blocks. More wood blocks. Here we go. Looks familiar? Jed, you tell them what this is. It's color blocks. And we have more color blocks here than I've had hot dinners. My God, this print has so many colors. I don't know if I still have the image here. Let's have a look. See if I've still got it here. Hang on a sec. Here it is. Bingo. Okay, there's the Photoshop style. This is a printout of Jed's Photoshop file. File. We've had, when did we start this, Jed? Is that a few months ago? Somewhere in the middle of summer, beginning of the summer? The idea is he and I have been working for the last year or so, of course, on the Japan Journey series, trying to learn how to do Shin Hanga type prints. So Kawasaki-san, one of our carvers, had some quote unquote free time. So we decided to start an independent project. This is not part of a subscription series at all. It's an independent print that will just be made and sit in our catalog, and it'll be in Jed's catalog online too, I guess, whatever. And we just wanted to see if we could do it. Scale up what we've been doing on a small scale for the Japan Journey series. Here's a complicated block. Nothing carved. This is a background block. It'll be used, for example, you see the gradation at the bottom coming up. There might be a gradation at the top. And it's also in reserve. We might need something else, who knows, partway along. What we've done, Jetson too, the people you've got at the bottom there, we thought there were a fairly limited number of colors there. There's a lot of orange in there, which is of course from the glow of the lights, nice and warm. But we've kept the option. We've done a bunch more people on this block here at the bottom. And we have the option, we can rub on some different colors here and there on the different clothing because they're all separated. We might be able to get more variation in the color on the clothing. We'll see. It's an option. Just we kept the. We just wanted to do more testing with that. Somewhere here, there's the key block. Let me see if I can dig around and find it. Oh, here it is. The thing is, though, Jed's thinking, wow, it's carved, I'm going to see this in a few days or something. That's not actually what's going to be happening here. Yes, give me a minute. Get in the key block here. Because even though the blocks are ready, we don't have any, and I mean none, printing time for this. Here's one of the key blocks. Here we are. Let me get the camera figured out here. Where am I? Here's the key block for the more delicate gray. You can barely see it, of course, in the one over the left there. The temple, you can see the colors, but you can't see the lines. And somewhere here, there's another one. Here it is. We've now got 4 prints from Jed, carved, and not even proof printed yet. Sushi cats, Hanami cats, ramen cats, and now this one. He's probably just given up on us, you know. Yeah, so that's one thing of the orange. We want to glow on those people, but this is a bit too much, fruity. It's a bit too much orange. And here's the other key block. You can see it's all just black there. And this is a block that's got lots of mudabori. See these lantern shapes here? They're on this block in black. The lanterns in the print will not be outlined in black. They're outlined in red. They have a glow. But we needed to know where they were, and we needed to know how far to carve the temple and all the other ones in the background. So on the second block, all these lanterns are outlined. They're actually carved, and we've printed them on this block. Once the color transfers are done, which is done, and once we've test printed and made sure we're okay with this, we will come back to this key block and cut off these black lines. There will be, the lines will still be, but the lantern lines will be gone. So this is mudabori, wasted carving. And when it's going to happen, I don't know. I'm sorry, I really just don't know what to say. Anyway, here we go. So how many blocks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 3 more down on the floor. They're all carved on both sides. It's 16 faces. 16 faces. Let's print out. Gotta be careful with this. These are fragile. This printing is going to be fun. But when I don't know. I'm sorry, I really don't know. Where's my own block? Where's my block? There it is. I really don't know. Think about the printers, they're just all working now. They're not working overtime in the sense that they're working until midnight every night, but all the printers here now are working at full capacity just to keep the subscription prints running. We're out of stock on any number of our popular prints. The Wave is out of stock. The Octopus hasn't even started. We're out of stock on a couple of the Heroes prints now again. Everybody says it's a good problem to have. Well, Jitsa, we're going to see you in a couple of days, right? You're over here on Wednesday, I think. I don't think it's a secret. Jet's coming over for the Tokyo Comic Con. We'll be here next week. We need night shift printers. We need night shift, day shift, medium shift, everything shift. Okay, let's do some work. Everybody says the same thing. It's a good problem to have. Everybody says the same thing. It's not a good problem to have. It's it's an insurmountable problem. The answer is clear. We have to start training more printers, and we have to start 5 years ago. And there's that meme, I guess we've seen it on the internet. Actually, it's been all over the place the last few days. I've seen it 2 or 3 times. It's talking about when's the best time to plant a tree. Best time to plant a tree is like 100 years ago. The second best time is today. So of course, so yes, I know. And as soon as this chaotic autumn season is behind us, we are going to be starting another batch of training. We've got 2 new workbenches set upstairs now. What we don't have is the people to be trained, the people to do the training. It's really backwards from where we expected to be about 5 years ago. Around that time, we were thinking we were really going to be in trouble for carvers. It was just me. Kawasaki-san was okay, but there was really nobody else on board and on site. We were thinking printing is okay, but there's nobody around to make new blocks. And then since then, of course, a young John-san from Hong Kong has come along. He's on fire. He's just on fire. And the current plan is he's going to work with me on the Cat series over the next year, months, whatever. Kawasaki-san, our young carver in Kobe, she's going to switch over. She's going to do subscriptions this year. John-san did the subscriptions last year. And then coming up, and this is not here in our workshop, but coming up, there's Casey-san. He is looking really, really good. And if he does stick with it, which looks probable, then there'll be another young professional carver, a few more years. There'll be another young professional carver here. So carving is looking okay. Printing is definitely more iffy. Printers. question above, blah, 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 question above what? Let's go up, let's go up. When I'm an official company, will I be able to bring in foreign workers? No, that's not how it works in Japan. You can't just bring in foreign workers. The government has a list of jobs and occupations that they allow some people to come in from overseas and do. They've just expanded it. There's 14 categories now of people that you can bring in. And we have been trying to get Rei-chan, our young printer upstairs, in on this. But it doesn't work because our work doesn't fit anywhere into any of those 14 categories. It's stuff like taking care of old people, doing forestry work, helping in the 7-Eleven. There's a bunch of stuff, hotels, whatever. And they don't cover anything related to our work. We can't do it. Whether it's a personal business like mine or a company, it doesn't make any difference. Japan, the government of Japan, I mean, obviously this is not new. They have decided, long ago, that they don't want to follow the model that many other countries have done. That when the labor shortage gets severe, you import workers. I mean, Germany did this with, what was it, people from Turkey and stuff, decades ago. Other countries have done it, and Japan has seen those models, importing workers, and they do not want to go that route. They're now being forced to because of this huge depopulation crisis here. But they're doing everything they can to avoid having a flood of foreign workers here. I think, what was it? It was about a year ago now that new law came in, allowing the people in the new 14 categories. And there was a story in my newspaper last night that gave some results. And if I remember the number correctly, it was so far, after the law's been in place for a year, 216 workers have managed to make it into Japan under that new category. 216. Like, yeah, this is really something that's happening. Not. What's also not helping the immigration thing is, in recent years now, of course there's been a huge phenomenal influx in the number of tourists coming to Japan. This has something that you would think might be a benefit on the face of it. So most Japanese people now, of course, or many people who didn't before actually have much contact with, foreigners, overseas people. Now it's a fact of daily life for most Japanese people, at least in those parts of the country, Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, the big cities, the major tourist places. It's a daily fact of life for all Japanese that there's foreigners all around them now. It might sound strange to some of you who live in a country like Canada or America or whatever, but this was not the case before. Any individual given Japanese person would go for days and days and weeks without ever having to meet anybody who wasn't Japanese, because we were so thin on the ground here. Of course, if you lived, in Asakusa or something, you saw foreigners. But if you were in some other part of Tokyo or whatever, you just didn't see many of them. You'd walk down the street, oh, look, there's one of those foreigners. But now that's not the case. Now we are, of course, everywhere. And this is turning out to be kind of difficult for some people, They've lived in a very homogeneous country for many, many years. And now all of a sudden, all around them, there's this babble of sound in different languages. And as a Canadian, this to me is like, so what's the problem with that? for a person who grew up in Japan, especially an older person, whatever, this is a bit difficult for them. I get it, I understand it, I get it. You know. I even feel it too now. My daily life here in the middle of Osaka, when I walk outside and go out to go and get my lunch sandwich or whatever, I don't even hear Japanese anymore. It's just a babble of sound in all different languages. I'm thinking like, what are all these people doing around here? So, what am I carving here? A cap or a mountain? Interesting. It's an interesting question, you know. Do I make these lines smooth, like a sleeping cat's body? Or do I make this line frantic and jagged, like that surface of a snow-covered mountain slope? No, not quite sure. I just follow what they've given me, I think. You guys are having a good conversation about Tour Jet. Good, thank you, thank you. The chrysanthemum print, Xeroxed and shrunk. Yeah, right. You saw me do it, right? Live on TV, you saw me carve that. Maybe that's what the microscope's for. I couldn't do that without this tool. I don't know if you guys saw the post Cameron made yesterday before he left for the weekend. He had fun, quote, fun in quotation marks on Thursday afternoon. He and Moriki-san drove up to Niigata to get acquainted with some of the people making mulberry fiber for paper making. There's a bunch of reasons for us to be involved in that. The future for those people is looking really, really not secure. And if the mulberry suppliers disappear, that's it, we're dead in the water. We're dead in the water. So we're going to try and be more active at helping them with their business, helping them meaning making sure, that they understand that we're here needing their product and to help them keep it going. Because the people up at the top of the supply chain, the people on the wood and the people supplying the mulberry, they don't really have a good grasp of what's happened recently in the last couple of years in the world of printmaking. They've lived in an environment now where for almost the past century, literally, since the end of the Meiji era, the woodblock printmaking world, traditional woodblock printmaking world has been dying. So if you had found the data and got a graph of the number of people supplying mulberry over the past 100 years, it's just a straight, steady decline all the way down. So these people, since they were born, have lived in an environment where they think it's all over soon, let's just see if we can hang on and get to the end of the line without a disaster. But now it's not like that. There's a huge need for their product now, but those people don't get it. They don't know. That information hasn't yet worked its way up to the farming end of the thing. And even those of them who we've talked to who do sort of a little bit get it, they can't do anything about it because their areas are strongly depopulating. There's no kids in any right mind would want to stay living in a farming village out there. The kids go up, go to high school, take a look at the rest of the world and say, sorry guys, I am out of here. So there's a huge gap in the workforce. Nobody's out there. It's just all elderly people. And of course, they're their idea, as I said, it's just simply to run this out and when they're gone, that's the end of it. So we've got to change that. And the only way to change it is to get out there, get on the ground and let those people know how much of a demand there is for their product. And then do whatever we can to help them boost the availability of labor. Which means, of course, maybe raising the prices that are paid to them, providing some, what's the word? Making them know that their product is known and appreciated. So we're going to get up there, make some videos, get some social media activity going, write contracts for future supply for fiber, whatever we can do to help make sure we keep it going. We can't just sit back and expect to pick up the phone and put the orders in, because that's just not how it's going to work over the next 2 years. You're talking about the agro-tourism. This is actually a thing that was part of the discussions on Thursday up there. And there's nothing we can... We're thinking about getting involved in that part of it. It gets way too soon, and this is nothing that's going to happen soon here. But yeah, we have access to, we have a channel here that allows us to speak to many foreigners who are interested in Japan and who could be interested in this. Those people need labor, they need, so there's maybe something in there, either one idea that came up when they were talking up there on Thursday was that the labor for the harvesting the mulberry, it's extremely seasonal. It's like the California thing, whatever, the seasonal workers are needed sometimes and then sometimes they're not. So that's one idea, is that when we know that we need 5 people for 3 days to blow through that harvest, then it's quite possible that here at Neko Hakkei we can do that for them. We can get 5 people for 3 days. A combination of our own staff members maybe, because this is going to be December, January, February, stuff like this, winter season, our quiet time in the shop. So it could be that we can just get a minibus ready, whatever, book some minuscule accommodation up there, and we will head up there ourselves plus maybe people, some people from the fans, whatever, who are here in Japan as a tourist and would spend part of their time doing that. So yeah, we are very much in the early stages of thinking about how we can do something like that. If there's no labor up there in the village to do this, we'll drive up there and do it. So yeah, we'll see where this goes. You can't do that with things like making the paper because it's an extremely skilled job. The agricultural part of it, at least in terms of the fiber, the woodblock preparation is a different story. But there seems to be no reason why we couldn't help these people with the fiber. The plants themselves are very low maintenance during the course of the year. Cameron will be talking about, he made a video, he got video stuff for this when he was up there on Thursday. The plants for the mulberry aren't planted again each year, they don't come from seed. It's a bush, a brush that was planted years ago, or not from seed but from a cutting. Then it grows and comes every year, and they've trimmed it off now, and it'll come back up next year, and they trim it off again, it comes back up next year. And what they do is, it's the people who are farming this stuff are not farming just mulberry, because it's, like I said, it's just a once a year small harvest. These are people who are farming rice and other stuff. And the fields where they grow the mulberry are, what do they call it? I don't know the word for it. There's a mulberry plant, something else, a mulberry plant, something else. The fields are staggered. And the most common plant that they put down in between the mulberry plants is the one they call konyaku. I think it's called devil's root in Japan, I'm not quite sure. And it seems to be a plant that has the right balance. It supplies nourishment that the mulberry needs and vice versa and stuff like that. Okay, let's attack these trees. I'm watching outside. Anything happening out there? Just a normal Saturday morning, waking up in a Saksa. It's going to be a nice day, I think. Although, there could be trouble brewing here, you know. We may have some real trouble this morning. You know about the hot dog place down the street? We've talked about this before. They've put some chairs out and advertising signs, and they put a rope out there to try and guide people into their shop and stuff like that. And there's been a fair amount of blowback. There's been at least one visit I saw from the city hall who said, okay guys, push back, push back, push back. And they did, and then crept back outside. So they're all over the sidewalk. It doesn't bother me quite so much because they're 20, 30 meters down the street. And here at Neko Hakkei, we don't go out onto the sidewalk. We haven't done that at all. We've kept our nose clean. But what we do have is we have two posters inside our shop entrance. There's the rickshaw cart and the Star Fox, the Fox Moon designs. And when people walk down the sidewalk, they see these. We don't stick out into the sidewalk. We don't interfere at all, but they do see our posters when they walk along the sidewalk. Many, many people drop in the shop after seeing the posters. Now, if the hot dog place had been next to us, it would have been real trouble because they've blocked the sidewalk and people have to walk out in the street. And this isn't actually one of those closed off streets where cars can't come. This is actually a real street. Cars drive by all the time. The cars go by really slowly because there are so many people walking out in the street, but nonetheless it's a real street. Anyway, that's the background. This morning when I came down to open up the shop here, I saw that a rental company had made a drop-off during the night at the restaurant next door here. And what was dropped off was a few steel tables and chairs, outdoor use patio chairs. And it looks like what is going to happen this morning is the restaurant next door is going to set up on the sidewalk rather than try to ask the Korean hot dog people to cease and desist. It looks like what they've done is they're going to join them. They're saying, well, if that's it, if the sidewalk is going to become usable by all the restaurants, let's join the party. And if that's the case, then there is going to be trouble this morning because I'm not going to sit there and let this happen. If they do put their chairs and tables on the sidewalk, blocking the people walking down, I'm going to get out there. And calling the police will do nothing because they will just shrug their shoulders. This is not a matter for them. What it will be is first step, you try and resolve the problem yourself. Second step, you get a go-between, and I will go to the officer of the Merchants Association. He's the guy who should be telling all of us shops to keep in line and stuff like that. I'm not going to get any grief there because what's the problem there is he, the leader of the Merchants Association, has a ton of crap outside his shop. He's got an air conditioner mounted on the sidewalk. He keeps his beer cases out there. He doesn't have customer seating. But he's a high offender, so he has no real leg to stand on to try and get these guys back in line. I only have one place to go to, and that's the city hall. And they have what they call like this, the Kankyo monitor, environmental monitor. And there are people standing by during normal weekdays to come running around and see if there's any what complaints have been made. So I will phone them this morning, but it may not happen because it's a weekend and maybe nobody there. So we'll see. There could be trouble in River City today. We'll see. My camera's facing the other way. If I turn this camera to the left instead of the right, we'll see what happens with the chairs and tables. Part of the problem, of course, is that the people here in the restaurant next door, they're just employees. They're just the kids who are employees. They have no control over anything. This will be set up by the management. And even the quote manager, what they call Tencho, the young guy who is the nominal on-the-spot manager, he's nothing to do with these kind of decisions. He's just doing what he's told. So we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. Restaurant battle, yeah. Yeah, John knows this. A capital T, and that rhymes with P, and that stands for pool. God, I heard that the first time round, I think. We did it in our high school. When I was in the high school band, our high school had a real big theater drama program. And every year they did a real Broadway musical. I say they, it was us, we did it. We did Finian's Rainbow, we did The Music Man, we did, it's not Grease, what's the one that was the one of the same idea? There was a kid who was a fake Elvis. What was the name of it? God, I can't remember it. What was the name of that Broadway musical? Conrad Birdie was the hero's name. What was the name of the musical? Conrad Birdie. Bye Bye Birdie. You got it. Yes, thank you. I got the guy's name, but I couldn't remember. Oh, God. Somebody out there is as old as I am. Not much, but we had great fun doing that. We got the real Broadway show music licensed. It's a company called Tams Whitmark. Our school got the license to do this, and they sent us the actual real orchestrations. They were in these black, thick folders with the real orchestrations that were used on Broadway. They got all these pencil markings in them that the musicians had done and stuff like that. That was really, really cool. There must have been rights. You paid a lower fee for school licensing or something. I don't know how it worked. But every year we got this package, this huge crate would arrive from Thames Whitmark with all these orchestrations inside. We had great fun. We thought we were pros, you know. High school kids playing these Broadway shows. They must have sounded god-awful. Man, we had fun. And we're in the, quote, orchestra pit, which just means we're on the gymnasium floor in front of the stage, you know, with a little curtain barrier in front of us. And the kids on the stage, the kids who were in the drama program, were singing, you know, all these songs from Bye Bye Birdie. And what did we do? We did Finian's Rainbow, Bye Bye Birdie. The third year I was there, we did, it was the one, Dick Van Dyke did it in real life. It's something about kids. Kids, what's wrong with kids today? What's that musical? Or maybe that's the same one, Bye Bye Birdie. Schools still do that sort of stuff? I guess they do. Yeah. Me, I was flute. In high school, I was a flute player. Flute. But what they did was, we had a high school band. There was no orchestra in our school. So all these orchestrations came from New York for these musicals. And of course, it's violins, and trumpets and trombones and whatever. And we didn't even have a stage band. This is the era before like dance bands and stage bands in high school. We had a school band. That's it. So the violin parts had to be given to the flutes and the clarinets. And our clarinet players had to try and transpose from B flat to C and do this. And the flute, I'm on the violin part. It was absolutely, it must have sounded god awful. Absolutely god awful. How are things in Glockamora? We did that one too. We did, what was it? There was four of them. We did Bye Bye Birdie. We did Music Man. How are things in Glockamora? I didn't transpose, I was a flute player. I'm playing the violin music straight ahead. I think these are sort of like, we never did anything like South Pacific or those big gigantic ones, the Rogers and Hammerstein ones. Maybe they didn't license for schools, I don't know. It's sort of these slightly second string musicals that must have been allowed for schools, or maybe after they'd finished their run out there, they were cheaper. I don't know anything about how it worked in the background. And I'm also confusing my memory with the ones that I did myself. My brother was 3 years behind me. So there's ones that I did in the high school band, and then there's ones that they did after I left, but I went to see them because my brother was in the band. So these are blurred together in my mind here. They did Sweet Charity. I remember that. That's right. I didn't do that. That was one that my brother was involved with, which I thought was kind of touchy for high school in the late 1960s or something, whatever. Ho, ho, ho. There's a truck outside and they're taking away the tables and chairs. That was fast. One truck brings them during the night and another truck takes them away in the morning. Interesting. What was that all about? Interesting. Somebody made a mistake and they were delivered to the wrong place and they were picking them up and taking them away. That's possible, I guess. My phone call worked, he says. I have no idea what that was about. I heard the clanging during the night. They appeared, and now they're gone. I have no idea what it's about. Another truck. What's going on? This endless stuff. We should have a camera both ways out there all the time. It's a fun street, you know. It's a fun street. This must be, I think this one's the oyster delivery. I think I'm not quite sure. He parked where I can't see him, so I can't see. These deliveries, of course, mostly happen in the morning because once the day gets going, there's no way trucks can really get down here. As I said, the street is nominally a normal street, but the bare fact of the matter is there's so many people walking around here that vehicles just can't function. So any deliveries and stuff, these people all know the scene. They all get their deliveries done at this time of day before things get up and running. And it's a tiny bit of a problem for us. The post office, the postal service here, they're in competition with things like FedEx and stuff like that. So they've got a service where they will come and pick up your packages. If you're sending a package by what's called their EMS service, which is the one that competes with FedEx, then they will come pick it up. They won't pick up normal mail and stuff like that. That would be insane. They couldn't do that. But if you have a package that's being sent overseas by the EMS service, which competes with FedEx, they will come pick it up. Just phone them, bang. A few minutes later, are there. When you phone them, they ask you, how big is the thing? And they either send a guy on a bicycle or a motorbike or a truck to come pick it up. And we use this all the time because we get lots of orders from overseas that people are asking for something in a rush. And it'll happen more and more for the next few weeks as people leave their gift shopping too late, and they'll be ordering stuff from us. And when the Ome workshop is closed, like it's closed today, Saturday and Sunday, Ome is closed. Rush orders we ship here from Asakusa, and the post office comes and picks them up. But the deal is, as I said, because the street is so busy, so they have asked us really, please, don't call us at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, because it's the same guy who does this all the time. So if we call him in the morning to come and get stuff, it's no problem. He's in here, zip, zip, he's back home in a couple of minutes. But if we ask for a pickup at 2 o'clock in the afternoon or something, it takes him an hour to do it. He just fights his way through the traffic, moving at a snail's pace and whatever. So they do not want to do this. But it's an open system. All we have to do is phone, and bang, there they are. They will come. So he's asked us, please, just don't do this in the afternoon on weekends, Oh yeah, see in the street view there, center, just to the left of center, there's this shipping container there. We talked about this last week. Really, we can see what it's going to be now. It's a pop-up. It's an antenna shop. It's just a shipping container on wheels, and it'll be wheeled in and wheeled out when they're finished with it. That corner, there used to be a tendon shop, a tempura shop. That was torn down a year ago, and we're not used. Somewhere there's a dog out there. Shoot it. Okay, running free. That's really unusual. Dogs don't usually run free. Anyway, so the shipping container there. There's a sign on the side, but we know what it's going to be. I don't know how long it's going to be there, for a few months, I guess, or something. Probably over the year-end season. I don't know. It's a pop-up shop. It's from a company called BAT. The company's name is BAT, and the product they are going to be promoting and selling in the pop-up shop is something called GLO. The signs are all on the outside of it. GLO, brought to you by BAT. We looked it up and we know what it is now. It's like yuck. Something we really need, not. Do I hear footsteps on the stairs? Did somebody come in? Did somebody just come in the door? Yeah, BAT is the British American Tobacco Company. And this is one of their stupid new products to try and kill a few more people in a new, interesting, different way. Whoosh. Trees, trees, trees. Show and tell. I don't have a show and tell. No, I'm sorry, John. As I mentioned, there was something I was going to show today, that package of wood blocks. I got a bunch of old wood blocks on an auction last week. They showed up. It would have been yesterday. They were due to come Thursday. Maybe Thursday afternoon they came. I was going to show those wood blocks here today, but as I mentioned earlier in the stream today, I can't, because it turns out that they're all full of bugs. They're actively full of of bugs eating the wood. So I don't dare open them and show them and keep them near my bench and pass them around here. Our Amazon sealed them in plastic yesterday, and we put some pellets inside that should kill the bugs. So there's no way I can show that to you. So I'm sorry, I don't have a specific show and tell. So if you're waiting to go away. You can go. Some of that wood, a few of those blocks were a bunch of them were way too small for us. You know, I had no choice, I had to buy the batch. A bunch of them were way too small. And a few of them looked a bit too soft. But the 2 or 3 of the blocks in that batch, I think there was a dozen or so of them, 2 or 3 did look good. They looked really quite hard, really quite dense. They had been very, very heavily used. And some of the lettering on the top of these blocks, the carved lettering, was almost indecipherable. It had been worn so badly. And we haven't figured out what they are or translated any of it yet. But what they look like is these are really, really common. Old blocks from random temples here and there. And it was quite a thing in the old days that temples would have these like prayer sheets and stuff like this. And you know, like even now today, when you go to Sensoji, you put your 100 yen coin in and you get your whatever, omikuji, this sort of fortune-telling thing. And this has been a thing for a long, 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 long time here in Japan. And of course, temples would make their own. It wasn't something they could order and buy from a shop in Tokyo. I guess you could think of how we do that as well, but a lot of temples just made their own. And you see these blocks, and they're sort of hacked out. The lettering is hacked out. It clearly wasn't done by a professional carver or anything, you know. So maybe just somebody in the temple would just try this, make these wood blocks with lettering carved into it. Then they would be printing these rough sheets. I mean, this is not ukiyo-e level of printing with a barren and carefully moistened paper and stuff like that. This is just anything to get these horoscope type omikuji sheets printed. And some of the blocks yesterday we got look like they're kind of that type, and they have been printed so many times. One of them, and when we get it out of the plastic bag, I'll be showing you at some point, because I'm going to keep this because it's such a cool thing to show. One of them is so worn at the bottom part of the block. At the top end, you can read the characters, and bit by bit, as they go down the row, they get more and more blurred. And by the time you get to the bottom of each character row, all you've got left is a mound where there was a character carved. And it's really, I've never seen a block that badly worn before, ever. And we've got to keep this for an example. If people ask me, how long do these blocks last, Dave? And I'll say, oh yeah, we can print quite a lot of this. Take a look at this one. So these are cool. So we will, you know, the ones that are sort of worth keeping for historical interest or whatever, that's fine. The ones that are too soft, we'll just toss aside. And there will be a few in there that are not historically interesting, but that are hard enough that we hope to be able to salvage for making blocks ourselves. Now, I don't know, Cameron's got a box up there now underneath his desk with a bunch of these things that are useless to us. So I don't know, I think at some point he's going to put a bunch of these on Instagram or something. You know, so if anybody wants a few of these old blocks. We can't ship them around the world if they've got bugs in it, but you know, some of the small ones that are just old and dry. So I think he'll be doing that. If you ask him later, maybe he'll get to it. talking about those musicals, and now I've got How Are Things in Guacamole running through my head again and again. I gotta get that out of my head. I remember that one because that had a big part for the flute. They were up on stage singing about how are things in Guacamole, and there was a neat part for the flute. How the flute pretends it's a bird, and blah blah blah. So Dave was waiting for that every night, you know. Kilkenny and Kildare. Nothing to do with bed bugs, I think. These are just bugs that eat wood, or some kind of termite-related bug, I guess. I don't really know anything about the biology involved here, but... Yeah, Finian's rainbow. So. How are things in Guacamole? Stuff that sticks in your mind, you know. Kilkenny and Kildare. Yeah, putting those blocks in the freezer, I guess, would be an idea too. If we have a freezer here, but it's full. I mean, full of printing paper every night. So maybe during the day we could put some blocks in it, and take them out at night again, get ready for the paper. I don't know. We just have a small little covered freezer here. No food in it. Speaking of food and freezers too, next Monday, this is nothing relevant to the stream or whatever, but we're having a little get together here in the evening at Neko Hakkei. A bunch of the employees are going to stay after, and a couple of other ones are coming over. On last Tuesday, Aoyama-san and I, we put in the application for the registry, to the Legal Affairs Bureau to start Neko Hakkei as a company. And there's been phone calls back and forth. They rejected it and fooled around and rejected it. I think 3 times. We've had to go back. Aoyama-san went back 3 times, I think. Certainly twice, maybe 3 times. And it was dotting I's and crossing T's there. They're saying this I wasn't dotted, this T wasn't crossed, whatever. Different little fiddles with a piece of paper. But that's all done behind us now, and I think it's in there, and we're supposed to go back on Monday and pick it up. So the document that is our company registry, and we get a number and a name. It's going to be Neko Hakkei Inc. INC is the legal name in its English form. The Japanese name will be Neko Hakkei Godo Gaisha. We are not a kabushiki gaisha. There's no public stock trading on the Tokyo Stock Exchange here. We're not that kind of a scale. We are what's called a Godo Gaisha. Same as Apple, actually. Apple is a Godo Gaisha here in Japan. So Neko Hakkei will be, as of next Monday, it will exist. We won't be using it yet. The company begins operations January 1st. So to the end of the year, all the business will be done under Dave's personal business, the same as it has been for the last 30-odd years. And then December 31st, the Neko Hakkei owned and operated by Dave Bull disappears, and the new company comes into existence on January 1st. But anyway, Monday is when we pick up the actual documents, and the company exists as of that moment. So we're going to have a little party Monday night. The staff sits here and stuff like that. So so they've ordered some food and a couple of bottles of something or other. And as of January 1st, I will be an employee. Who's that? Kawai-san is here. Is it that time already? What? 9:16, my God. We're not going to change anything, and all this is a legal change in the background. That the ownership of this place, instead of being my personal ownership, this is my microscope, my telephone, my print, whatever. This stuff will be owned by a company, and I will be an employee of the company. And I own most of the company. Aoyama-san owns a piece of it. So there's nothing visible change. Maybe if you get an actual paper invoice from us, for example, at the bottom of the invoice, it'll say Neko Hakkei Inc. instead of just Neko Hakkei. Stuff like that. And there's tax and financial things changed in the background. But nothing will change visibly from the customer's point of view. The website, again, at the bottom of each page, instead of saying David Bull, it'll say Neko Hakkei Inc. and stuff like that. So there's no visible changes for the consumers here. The Japanese website will change a bit more because we have to be in compliance now. The Japanese website will have a privacy policy page and all that kind of stuff. Things that I haven't bothered with my own website. But there shouldn't be any other visible changes for the rest of the world. And the company will be paying the tax, but it's an advantage for me because this is going to greatly reduce my personal taxes. It seems like no big difference at first. We paid taxes as David or we paid taxes as the company. But there's a huge, huge difference in that when I pay taxes personally, my income tax is calculated, then all my other things, the amount of money I pay for my health insurance, etc., like that, because it's a government health insurance here, I pay premiums, of course, and those premiums are based on your income. And because my income the past couple of years has been high, last year's income was $700,000. Wow, I'm rich. So my health insurance goes up in proportion. And that, of course, will change now. I'm going to become an employee here, and I won't be paid $700,000 a year. I'll be paid enough to get my dinner, and that's about it. So my health insurance costs are going to go way, 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 way down. And my city tax and local tax and stuff like that. And if I was still a family man, if I had kids in school or kids in the daycare center, stuff like this, all of those costs are also, they're proportionate to your income. So we've had to do this. It's been a crisis that's coming now for the past 2 years. After we hit the Patreon campaign, got Cameron, got him onto the bookkeeping, and I started making more videos, our income soared. Our revenue has soared. I've got to do an update to the Patreon page, to let people know about this. You guys on the stream have seen this. You've seen our revenue graph for the past couple of years. And that's been a staggering problem for me tax-wise. So this company thing has been now a couple of years overdue. We have lost tens of thousands of dollars because we didn't do this a couple of years ago. Oh, that's a cat ear. I thought I was carving a mountain, but it's a cat's ear. This one is so much fun. Okay, we're getting stuff done. When I just sit here and keep working, stuff gets done. All these trees, stuff gets done. Meet the new boss. The same as the old boss. Wasn't that stuff fun? Does anybody ever listen to that kind of music anymore? I don't know. Guess not. So who's on staff today? It's Kawai-san, who you saw a moment ago there putting the flag out. And then Watabayashi-san is coming today. There'll be the three of us. So it's going to be a kind of busy day today. And it's the weekend, so who knows how it'll go. Good morning. Good morning, Kawai-san. Hello, hello, hello. How's your coffee, okay?
カフェ
咳とか大丈夫ですか？
カフェ大丈夫ですね。だいぶ良くなりましたね。まあちょっと映さない。
今、テイコさんが OK になった、渋さんはこれからダウンかな。ちょっと分かんない。
結構しつこい。
Who's that who just came in? What about you? The lady just came in and up the stairs. I heard the footsteps. But... Okay, I guess it's time for us to get ready here. I got to get out and get into the shop here. So we got some work done today. Eh? You can see where we're going with this. I'll save things like the eyes and nose probably for the last. There's a couple of thoughts about that. The reason I would save some of the critical parts for the last is because I'm frequently out of shape. I don't carve very much these days. Lots of things going on. So I'm really not smooth and in shape here. So I'm sort of basically not practicing, but I'm getting back up to this. And after a couple of weeks of this, I'll be in better shape. I'll carve the more delicate parts, the calligraphy, things like that. But the other part of it is that I've heard, and I have no direct experience of this, but I've heard that in the old days, the carvers, and this may be a mixed story. You hear about painters. They're painting a scroll, there's something, and the last thing they do is they put in the eyeballs, and the painting then comes alive, and away you go. And I've heard this about carvers, but it doesn't match with what I know about those guys. I don't think, none of the carvers that I've known would do such a thing. They're just like, what are you talking about? Just get out of my way, just let me carve. So I think they would just carve straight through like this. But it makes a nice story. Here we are, we've got this all ready. Let me now carve the eyes, and it will come alive. It makes a nice story. So. If I order a couple of mum prints, will it make it before Christmas? They're in stock. We're up and running. We have 300 or so in stock ready to go. So there should be no problem. This is now mid-November. What we did was on the gift print order page, I have now opened the post office mailing deadlines. And I think for America, it's December the 6th, I think, is the date that the post office is saying mail before this date to ensure delivery before Christmas. It's on. If you go to woodblock.com/gift, you will see the dates there for America, England, France, Germany, New Zealand, whatever, the major countries that have been buying for us. So check the gift page to see the mailing deadlines. Good morning, Warabe-san. Hello, hello. How you doing? So, okay, that's it. I now have a bunch of days work to do. It's Saturday. The next stream will be Monday morning, 2 days from now. I will be doing probably pretty much exactly the same thing. This is what you're going to be seeing now for the next couple of weeks. I'm off and I'm out of here. Thanks for watching and enjoying this quiet stream. See you next time. Let's put this up here. Yeah, it's coming alive. Yeah. It's funny, the guy in the window across there, you see the guy sitting on the seat bench out there. The building way behind him, it's Tom-chan. It looks like there's a guy in the window. It's wonderful. It's one of the window, it's one of the street decorations. These people are waiting for the kimono shop to open, or what's more likely, the two guys here, their girlfriend is in the kimono shop getting changed. The guys hang around outside waiting. Saturday, it was unusual to see those. Were they out all night? I don't think so. They didn't look like they were hungover or drunk. 3 salarymen. Not quite sure why they would be walking by here at 9:30 in the morning. Not common. Okay, anyway, I do have to get out of here, guys. Let's turn this off. See you next time. Thanks for watching again.